Good morning, everyone. It's 11 minutes past 9 o'clock, and welcome back to CW Iowa Live. I am Lou, being joined by a very good friend of ours. We know her as the privacy professor, Rebecca Harold. How are you? Hopefully you had a great holiday weekend.
I did. How about yourself?
Very busy, but we're back here, we're back home, and we're enjoying what we have. So that's wonderful.
Awesome.
Now, Rebecca is here because she keeps everybody safe when it comes to cybersecurity. That's her job. That's her business. And there's something that we're going to talk about here that is really, you know, people might be uncomfortable for some people to talk about, but it's something we really need to discuss.
It is. It's truly important. And before I get started, why, what if I offered you a Christmas gift of one of these? They're both 64 gigabyte USB drives.
Oh, USB drives or jump sticks, as we used to call them?
Jump sticks.
Yeah, jump sticks, yeah.
Which one of these would you choose?
Probably whichever one you give me, actually.
The right answer is you want the one in the package.
Why is that?
Because the one in the package, you know, probably does not have any malware on it. This one could have malware because it's been open and you don't know where it's been.
Even if I got it from you?
Even if you got it from me, you don't know where it's been before that. I mean, trusting me is great. I appreciate that. But you still don't know where this has been. So if you ever get offered a USB drive that's out of the packaging, don't take it, because you could get malware, and some of that malware could do what we're going to talk about.
I'm glad you said that, because there's a lot of people, especially this week, that are going back to the malls, going back to the stores, returning other merchandise, and you're going to see people that are be handing things out.
They are, and they're going to try to give you this and say, oh, you know, take this and it's got coupons on there, or take it and you can get a free trip, maybe, be entered into it, and they want you to stick that in your computer, and it could have malware, and some of that malware could actually take over your camcorder, and it can control it. And yes, and that is one of the ways. I'm going to talk about 3 ways in which people are falling victim to a crime called sextortion. Sextortion, and that means that they are collecting explicit videos or photos from victims and then telling them they have to pay a ton of money to get it back, oftentimes as much as $1,000, and there's been a few cases $8,000.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Now, is this happening everywhere?
It's happening worldwide, and in the U.S. particularly, in the last 2 years alone, the FBI has estimated that the crooks have made over $200 million from this. And one of the ways they do it is through spreading malware, not just through USB drives, but through phishing attacks that are successful. And you click on something, and then all of a sudden you have software that's loaded, and it takes over and controls your camcorder so that you might not know that it's recording. So you might have your camcorder in your bedroom and taking a shower, and then all of a sudden you're contacted by someone, and they're saying, oh, you know, we have some videos of you, and we're going to post it online, or we're going to do other things with it unless you pay us a lot of money. So that's one way. But here in the holidays, there's another way that is really becoming more popular, and for all those folks out there who are thinking about New Year's Eve, and they might be lonely, and you might think, oh, well, I'll find a date somewhere.
Sure.
They might get online, and they might start, you know, video chatting or doing Skype, and they might be talking with someone that they don't know, and that person might tell them to do suggestive things, and they might think that that person on the other side is also doing suggestive things, but oftentimes they're just showing, you know, clips of pornography to get the victim to succumb and do that same type of thing, and then they don't realize that they're being recorded during this time.
Are you serious?
So now, that's really a bad problem.
People fall for this.
Oh yeah. In fact, the targets that fall for this the most, they find, are oftentimes young men who are in their 20s and 30s, or also those older men and women too, but they find that a larger proportion tend to be men, the widowers So,
are you serious?
Yes, a lot of times
That's frightening, actually.
It's very frightening because you think, oh, well, I'm talking to someone, I see them here, I know who they are, so, maybe this could be my one and only. So then they do things that they wouldn't do in public, and then they get blackmailed, and they're told, you need to pay us $1,000 or $5,000 or $8,000, or we're going to go tell your family, or we're going to go and post it online. And so this is how they're making their money. They wire the money back to the crooks, and of course they still have that video.
Right.
And they keep coming back to them and asking them for more and more money. So,
and this time of year, because it's the holidays and people have a tendency of getting lonelier during the holidays, so they're vulnerable.
They're very vulnerable. So you have the ones that are vulnerable because they're lonely. Then you have children. This type of scheme, not with the dating part, but with promises for being a model or an actor.
Okay.
This is also very common right now, too, because it's over winter break. And so a lot of times kids are thinking about, what am I going to be when I get older? Well, I want to be an actress, or I want to be a model. So what they will do is they will talk with them in different chat rooms or different social media, Snapchat, some of the other places that they like to talk with others. And they will say, well, give us a nude photo or a video of yourself, and we have a $1,000 gig for you. So you give us this, we're going to get you this job. And, kids, they'll believe that. I mean, they don't have the emotional.
First of all, you don't do that, number
maturity.
one. Yeah,
Right.
number one, you just don't do that.
Right,
But I'm
right.
sure some people would say, I need to get into the business, this is how you do it.
Yes.
And I'm sure they're talked into it, too.
Oh, they're talked into it. In fact, these criminals really groom them. I mean, they'll spend, days and weeks. They might have been building up throughout the last few months to get them to this point where they know that they're going to have time off. It's happened here in Iowa, too.
Has it really?
Yeah. Back in August, why the state attorney general, I think it was talking about cases where this same type of thing happened for some kids in Johnston and in Ankeny and some other places.
That close?
Oh, yeah. Anyone, anywhere is vulnerable to this. And what makes it so much worse is that the kids, of course, they get so embarrassed, and it's something that just really tortures them because they're like, oh, you can't tell my parents.
But where are the kids going to get the money?
Well, that's where they come and they either get a debit card from their parents.
No way.
Or worse, instead of paying money, the people will say, well, if you don't have the money, you have to give us more photos and more videos. And there have been cases where the kids have actually.
I never heard of that.
Oh, and they've got, it's terrible. And the FBI says through their research, and also other independent researchers say, that this is dramatically increasing. I mean, just from 2 years ago, it's many times worse now, and it's getting more problematic. In fact, there's different locations. It's such a lucrative crime. There was actually a ring in the Philippines that was set up. They had over 50 people who worked. They had a payroll department.
Are you
they had,
serious?
They had like a regular business, only this was their business to go after people. So I wanted to let your folks know, your viewers know, that you need to be very careful. Don't do anything. Number one, don't be giving videos and photos of explicit, images of yourself to people that you've met online if you don't know them, and even people that you might have met briefly online that you don't, or in person. Don't do it either. If you can't do something out in the middle of a mall, don't do it online.
That's good advice. That's good advice. And speaking of malls, let's go back to the first thing we said.
Yeah.
A lot of people might be running into people that want to hand you these devices.
Exactly.
Say thanks, but no thanks.
Say no thanks. If you had it in a package, why I take it because I'm a safe person.
Because then it's okay.
Then you know.
For the most part.
For the most part. If you do have a laptop, of course, malware can spread in many different ways. But what I like to do, and I've been doing this ever since I had a laptop with a camcorder built in, I just put a sticky note over it because even even though I know I'm very careful with what I click on, I still don't know what might have got in somehow. So I just keep my camcorder covered. And that's something easy to do. You can do it with a sticky note.
Piece of tape.
You know, it's not a clear tape. And also, make sure that you don't just believe what people are telling you online.
Yeah, use your head.
Use your head. And keep good security, because the third way they get a hold of these type of images is if they get into your system itself and they find explicit images.
It might be on there.
Right, so have good security on your computer. Keep everything encrypted that's of a sensitive nature, because if it's encrypted, they can't do anything with it. And if you are a victim of this, tell somebody, tell the police, tell, if you're underage, tell a trusted adult, like your parents or some teacher that you trust. Let them know, and definitely do not pay. Do not pay. This is a crime. It's something that they won't stop if you pay them. In fact, they're going to know that they can come back for more, and certainly don't keep giving more images.
Wow, that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, so
this time of year,
it's really growing, and we want to make sure that people aren't falling for this. And don't be afraid to talk to your kids about it. I mean, it might be kind of uncomfortable, but let them know that, you know,
if something happens, they can talk to you.
Yes,
there
definitely.
You go. Now, if people want to get more information about this, or maybe you have some other tips for them, how can they get some tips on this?
They can go out to the privacyprofessor.com, or they can go out to privacyprofessor.org, and I can communicate with them there. Also on Twitter, I have privacyprof. That's my Twitter handle.
That's my favorite place to get a hold of you, so it's easy. It really is. And she does answer all the questions, too.
Yes, definitely.
Wonderful. Well, wonderful. Have a very happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks for being here.
Let's make it safe and private.
We can do that. We will be right back. You're watching CW Iowa Live in West Des Moines.